When I first started digital art, I almost quit, and it was all because of the tablet I chose. So to save you from making the same mistakes that I did, today I'm going to break down the 3 tablets every beginner needs to know about. And I'm going to tell you exactly which one I would buy if I had to start all over again. Let's start with the most affordable option on the list. And I'll be honest with you, this is also the tablet that almost made me walk away from digital art completely. So before you go and buy one just because it's cheap, let me explain what nobody told me when I was starting out. So let's talk about how this works. A pen tablet is basically a flat pad that you plug into your computer. There is no screen on the tablet itself, it's just a surface that's sensitive to the stylus. When you move your pen across the pad, it translates that movement to your cursor on your computer monitor. So what you're doing is you're drawing on the pad, but you're watching what you create on the screen. So think of it like a souped up mouse, except instead of clicking and dragging, you're drawing naturally with a pen. Also, the stylus doesn't need batteries and it detects how hard you press, which is what gives your lines thickness and variation, just like a real pen or brush would on paper. Now, let's talk about the pricing. This is the most affordable way to get into digital art. You can find a solid pen tablet for as little as $30 to $50. And I know what you're thinking, $50 for a tablet means it's gonna be cheap. And believe it or not, that is not the case. A tablet at this price can perform just as well as a $300 tablet and match the pressure sensitivity of most popular brands out there. And just for context, the pressure sensitivity is basically how the pen reacts to how hard you press. A light touch gives you a thin line and a heavy pressure gives you a thick one, just like drawing with a real pencil. Now, the tablet that I'm using is from DIGIDRAW, and they were nice enough to send it over to me to try. And this tablet is a great example for getting a premium experience without spending an arm and a leg. So if you're interested in learning more, I provided a link to their tablet in the description, so just make sure you check it out. Now, if you want to go with a more recognized brand like Wacom, their tablets start around $80 to $100. And honestly, for a beginner, that's still a solid deal, because just to get an Apple Pencil for an iPad alone, you're probably going to spend around $100. So just think about that. You can get the top of the line drawing tablet and the pen at the same price of the pencil for an iPad. And in my opinion, you really can't beat that. And at the end of the day, for a beginner just starting out, the $50 to $100 range gets you everything you need. Now, this brings me to the learning curve, and I'm going to be honest with you. This one has the highest learning curve of everything on this list. And here's why. When we all first started to learn to draw, we were looking down at our paper. Your hand and your eye were in the same place at the same time. With a pen tablet, that changes completely. You're drawing on a pad, but you're looking up at the screen. And those two things are in totally different places. That disconnect is what trips most beginners up. Now, I'm pretty sure what's going through your head. Isn't this basically just a mouse with better control? Kind of. But here's the thing that most people miss. When you're using a mouse, you have as much surface space as the entire table you're sitting on. With a pen tablet, you're limited to the small active area on the pad itself. And you're navigating that without even looking at it. So that combination of limited space and divided attention is what made this the hardest adjustment for me personally. So who is this actually the right choice for? Because despite the learning curve, there's a specific type of person this tablet makes a lot of sense for. This is the right move for someone who is just dipping their toes into digital art and isn't sure if this is something they want to commit to long term. If you're still in the exploratory phase, you want to try it without going all in financially. So just think of it as your entry point. And I just want to be real with you. This craft can get expensive really fast. So starting here keeps your risk low while you figure out if digital art is exactly for you. Alright, so let's talk about the next category on my list, and this one actually was my biggest surprise. The iPad and tablet PC category. I'll say this, when I first got my hands on one of these, I thought it was the future of digital art. In a lot of ways, it still is. But after using it for a while, I ran into a problem that nobody in the YouTube comments warned me about. But before I get into that, let's talk about how it works. The iPad or tablet PC works completely different from the pen tablet because everything happens on one device. There's no separate computer needed. You draw directly on the screen with a stylus for the iPad, that's the Apple Pencil, and you watch your lines appear right underneath your hands in real time. It runs its own apps like Procreate, which is one of the most popular digital art apps in the world, and everything lives on the device itself. It's essentially a fully self-contained art studio that fits in your bag. No cords, no separate monitor, no desktop required. You pick it up, you open your app, and you just start drawing. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. If you're looking at the iPad Pro, you're starting at almost $1,000. And look, you'll get what you pay for. This is a premium device that can handle professional level work. But we're not done yet, because Apple's also going to charge you separately for the Apple Pencil, which can run between $79 to $130. And that's just depending on the version that you need. And I'll be honest with you, I think it's a little ridiculous. Every other tablet on this list comes with a pen included. So if you're asking someone to spend $1,000 on a device, throwing in a pencil shouldn't be too much to ask, right? However, you can go the Android route with something like the Samsung Galaxy, which starts around $300 to $600. But in my experience, Android tablets never felt as smooth or responsive for drawing as an iPad. So that's just a trade-off you're gonna have to decide yourself. And here's a hidden cost that most people don't even think about, and that's the storage. If you want everything saved on your device, you'll pay upfront for an extra storage space. Now, if you want a lower storage model, then you're looking at a cloud subscription which can run you anywhere between $1 to $10 a month, depending on how much space you need. It's not a deal breaker, but it's one more thing to factor into your budget. By the time you add everything up, the device, the pencil, the storage, you could easily be spending between $1,200 or $1,500. And that's just to get started. So this brings me to the learning curve. The learning curve on this one sits right in the middle of the three options. Once you figure out which app you want to work in, it comes pretty naturally. And the apps today are genuinely pretty impressive. And just a heads up, I have friends who do the entire illustration process on the iPad, and the work looks incredible. Now, that was even possible when I was first starting out. So I guess what I'm saying is the iPad actually feels like you've drawn on a real canvas. So from a pure drawing experience standpoint, it's very approachable. However, the one thing I will say is if you're coming from designing on a desktop computer, the adjustment might actually be harder than a complete beginner. And that's because you have habits to unlearn. The interface is different, the way you navigate is different, and the workflow doesn't map directly to what you're used to on a computer. A beginner going in cold turkey actually has the advantage here because they have nothing to unlearn. So who's this option best for? This is the right choice for someone who has a larger budget and wants the flexibility to design anywhere at any time. If you're the type of person who likes to work from a coffee shop, traveling, or just not being tied to their desk, the iPad experience is hard to beat. But here's one thing in the comments that nobody will tell you. Apple updates their lineup every year, which means the device you buy today starts to feel outdated faster than you expect. Eventually, the Apple stops supporting their older models with their software updates, and the apps that you rely on start working the way they used to. That cycle happens more frequently with iPads than with pen tablets or pen displays. So just factor that into your decision. So if the pen tablet felt too unnatural and the iPad feels too expensive, just stay with me for a second, because the last option is the one I wish I started out with from day one. But there's one thing that might make it a hard sell for beginners. Alright, this is the one I've been waiting to talk about. The pen display might be my favorite, and I want to tell you why before I get into the specs. Because I know the price is going to make some of you want to skip this section, but just stay with me for 2 minutes, because what I'm about to tell you might completely change how you look at this thing. So, I know what you're asking yourself, how does this work? You see, a pen display is kind of the best of both worlds. It's like a pen tablet that connects to your computer, but unlike the pen tablet, it has its own screen already built in. So, instead of drawing on a blank pad and looking up at your monitor, you draw directly on the screen and watch your lines appear right underneath your stylus in real time. It feels the closest to drawing on paper of anything on this list. Your hand, your pen, your canvas, all in the same place at the same time. And you still use professional software on your computer, like Photoshop or Clip Studio. And the display is just your input device and your view at the same time. Now, this brings me to the pricing. Pen displays range from between $150 on the affordable end all the way up to $1,300 or more for professional tier brands. And yes, there are options that push past $3,000, but those are for seasoned professionals, and we're not going to get into that today. Now, I do want to be upfront about something. Unlike the iPad, this is not an all-in-one device. You need a computer to run it. The pen display is essentially a screen that you draw on. Your computer is still doing all the heavy lifting. So if you don't have a computer yet, that's an additional cost you need to factor in. And if you're in the Apple ecosystem and you're running a MacBook or iMac, yeah, you're already spending a couple thousand on a computer alone. Oh yeah, one more thing. This device lives on your desk. You're not taking this to the coffee shop or drawing on your couch. For some people, that's a deal breaker, and I completely understand that. But Here's where the cons stop. Every design program out there is built on computers first, and the pen display is what unlocks the full potential for those programs. When I made the switch, I was able to design faster, work with more details, and create with less frustration. And one of my biggest problems is some design programs never feel like you're actually drawing. But with the pen display, that fixed that completely. And this brings me to the learning curve, and I put this one right at easy to medium range. The biggest adjustment for me wasn't the drawing itself, it was rebuilding my workflow around the stylus instead of the mouse. So this meant learning new shortcuts, customizing my settings, and training myself to reach for the pen instead of the mouse for everything. But once I dialed that in, I never looked back. So let me put it this way, I've been using a pen display for almost a decade. I started with the mouse and saved up for years until I finally got one. And after everything I've learned and everything I've created with it, if my pen display were to break today, I will replace it tomorrow. That's how much it's changed my workflow and my creative process. Now, you just don't say that about a piece of equipment unless it genuinely changed the way that you work. So who's this best for? This is the right choice for a beginner who has a healthy budget and wants to invest in something that's actually gonna last. And I mean, literally. So I have a pen display I bought about 10 years ago that outlasts my iMac computer. Think about that. This thing was built to last in a world where nothing feels like it's built to stay around anymore. Now for me, that's saying something. The pen display I'm using in this video is also from DIGIDRAW. This is called the Turing Pro 19, and just a heads up, this is a great option for people who want a pen display and they don't want to break the bank. Now, this is also the safest long-term investment of the three options. The brands that make the pen displays do a great job of updating their drivers to keep up with the new computers and operating system updates. So you don't have to worry about your device becoming obsolete the way you might with an iPad. And now here's the big picture. If your files live on your computer and you have access to the best professional design programs and compatibility is almost never an issue, if you want the option that gives you the most control, the longest shelf life, and the most natural drawing experience, my friend, this is it. So now that we know everything I wish I knew before I bought my first tablet, the three options, the three different experiences, the three different price points, which one would I actually go out and buy if I had to start my entire digital art journey over again? Well, let me give you my honest ranking. My third place might actually surprise some of you, and that's the iPad. Now, before you come for me in the comments, let me explain. The iPad has come a long way, and I have a lot of respect for what it can do. But here's the truth. Almost every professional design program is built for computers first. Unfortunately, the iPad is more of an afterthought for most of them. The one app that was actually built for iPad is Procreate. And you know what Procreate users have been asking for the longest? A desktop version. That tells you everything you need to know. And when you combine that with the shelf life conversation we had earlier, I just can't in good conscience tell a beginner to spend around $1,500 on a setup that Apple's going to nudge you to replace in just a few years. In my opinion, that's just not a beginner investment. That's a premium lifestyle purchase. Second place goes to the pen tablet. And I just want to be clear, this isn't a bad product. For the price, it genuinely delivers. But for a complete beginner, this one has a hidden cost that nobody talks about. And that cost is your confidence. Drawing without looking at your hands is harder than it sounds. I know because it almost ended my journey entirely. The only reason I kept going was because I put the tablet down, I went back to my mouse, and I decided to save up for something better. And that something better is my number one pick. And my number one pick is the pen display. This is the item I would buy if I decided to start my journey all over again. In my opinion, it's the most natural way to learn digital art because you can actually see what your hand is doing. Also, it works virtually with every design program on your computer. And as we talked about earlier, this thing will outlast almost everything else in your setup. Now, the only real drawback is the price. But here's what I want you to remember. You don't need to buy the most expensive one to get a great experience. There are plenty of options starting around the $150 to $200 range that perform just as well as a beginner as the $1,000 versions. So the price barrier is a lot lower than most people think. At the end of the day, the best tablet is the one that keeps you drawing. And for me, I genuinely believe for most beginners, that's a pen display every single time. Drop a comment, let me know what you think of my list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Also, please drop a comment, let me know where you are in your design journey. I'd love to hear from you guys, especially if I can help. But with that being said, if you're a beginner artist, beginner digital artist, and you're looking to continue your journey, then this video right here is for you.